Feuerauftrag beendet. Ende.
Neue Anforderung gefangen. Ende.
Ende.
Verstanden. Wirkung schießen. Ende. Neue Anforderung gefangen. Ende. Ende. Ende.
Schießwerte ermittelt. Ende.
Schießwerte ermittelt. Ende.
Schießwerte ermittelt. Ende.
Verstanden. Wirkung schießen. Ende. Schießwerte ermittelt. Ende. Schießwerte ermittelt. Ende.
Bewegung, Soldat!
Verstanden. Feuer einstellen. Ende.
Voll.
Vorwärts! In Stellung! 'n
Feueranforderungen
Verstanden.
20. Ende.
Ende.
Feueranforderungen 20. Ende.
Feueranforderung. Ende. Verstanden. Feuer einstellen. Ende.
Bewegung.
Feueranforderungen 20.
Verstanden.
Ende.
Ende.
Okay. Now, if you spent the last about 13 minutes or so thinking, boy, it sure does look like he's getting ready for some kind of counterattack, well, you'd be right. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is counterattack time. So you might have noticed the action proceeded in a few stages since we started watching it. There was a mutual artillery barrage around Casa Finella, Casa Raposa. Bletchley Geek dropped artillery in the area around Casa Raposa for a little bit, which then ceased. I had continued dropping some artillery on Casa Finella, then cease-fired. I adjusted my artillery over here to the woods by Casa d'Antonio. As you can see, these little sheds right here have been blasted down. It's kind of nice, gives me a little better field of fire with these guys. I also expended a few more of my rounds of ammunition right down here among these positions that the enemy was occupying previously. And other than that, the artillery pretty much came to an end. Most of my mortar ammunition is gone. I have a few rounds of high explosive left in some of my mortars, but they're preparing to target the house at Casa Finella because I am getting my forces together, everything I have intact over here, and we're going to launch a counterattack in the direction of Casa Finella. Although, honestly, with the benefit of hindsight, I probably should have rethought that plan. You might have noticed that short artillery barrage that had begun on Casa Raposa just like 2 turns ago, before I dropped the big smoke screen out here in front of Casa Finella. That signaled to me that Bletchley Geek was preparing to renew his attack over here towards Casa Raposa, and what I wanted to do, my intentions with this counterattack, was to catch his incoming attack in the flank with these forces out here in the open field. And as you can see, the result of that will be coming up next. We're just getting into our final jump-off positions right now. I got a few infantry teams still moving, and I got one squad back here still moving. For the most part, this counterattack is made up of 3rd Platoon, 1st Company, who was involved in the 2nd line of defense over here during the fight for Casa Finella. They managed to withdraw relatively intact. The remnants of 1st Platoon are all, who was based at Casa Finella, are all over here. When Bletchley Geek dropped his artillery on Casa Raposa, I decided to pull back everybody, like all my able-bodied defenders, to a position in the rear. I wanted to make sure that they didn't get destroyed if he suddenly dumped like a heavy artillery barrage on Casa Raposa. I didn't want him to be stuck inside the house. And as you can see, Private Engelman over here finally managed to get up to the wall. He's going to medic up all these 3 guys, and there's not going to be any problem with that. So he's a brave man, that Engelman. So what's going to happen, at least as far as the attack that's about to jump off, is my intention was to wait until Bletchley Geek began his attack over here, and that artillery barrage on Casa Raposa seemed to signal the start of an attack. So in my mind, Bletchley Geek has probably positioned himself on a line kind of right behind the victory location here, and within the next few turns he's probably going to begin moving out in this direction, renewing his attack on Casa Raposa. So I decided to park my forces out here in this bush-lined path over here and attack, or counterattack, his incoming attack in the flank. You'll see me re-man Casa Raposa shortly. I have a 2-man team going in there just to make sure that he doesn't sneak onto the objective while my guys are out. And other than that, Casa d'Antonio is still holding firm. As far as I know, there are no enemies in the victory location. And my machine gun team had another injury, but so far they're okay. And of course, the ever-present Lieutenant Austerman is still sitting here. Although I think he's outside of the building. What is it? Oh yes, this is the beginning of my attempt to try to do buddy aid on the troops outside. For some reason, despite the fact that Austerman and these guys are in the same action spot, he seems very loath to leave his position next to the building and actually go over there and medic them up. But that'll be handled later. Over here, I'm pushing forward my heavy machine gun teams into positions from which I previously understood that I could fire, I could observe enemies in this bush line and fire upon them easily. I'm just going to set them up right here in these bushes, maybe crawl them forward another 1 or 2 action spots. I have my single-man machine gun team still deployed, still covering the barbed wire from his position over here. And my other HMG team is now deployed in this little bushes right here, facing in that direction, covering the end of the line that I saw out there. And you might be wondering, why am I pushing these machine guns up? Well, that's very simple. The answer to that question is over here on this flank, where I'm gathering up my HQ teams, HQ support teams, ammo bearer teams, mortar teams, pretty much everything I can scrape out of my defenses and positions in Masseria Amelia, save for the battalion commander Mallet, who still has to sit in the victory location in order to own it. And I did make a very small mistake here, which cost me about, I think, 100 victory points. I pulled, I think that's Captain Dagnes, I think. I pulled him out of Casa Albanetta. He was posted in the second floor of this building here, but I decided that his team, having 2 MP40 submachine guns in it, was a welcome addition to our firepower going into this little engagement over here, and you're going to see him do pretty good execution with that. I also decided I could have pulled one of these teams back and put them in Casa Albanetta, but these mortar teams and HQ teams are also going to be joining in the counterattack over here. As you can see, I'm basically throwing every single available soldier I have into this. These mortar teams still have a few rounds of ammunition left, and once they've fired off their ammunition, they're also going to move down here and join the attack. So, as I stated previously, the purpose of this attack over here is going to be to advance into Bletchley Geek's flank across this open field here, with the overall objective of contesting or perhaps recapturing Casa Finella, and the objective of these small teams over here. I did notice some scattered enemy contacts in this orchard, in these trees over here. Basically what I want to do is I want to advance into the orchard, and I want to try to form like a skirmish line going across like this, and then it's just going to advance forward like a gate kind of swinging on a hinge, and I want to just kind of take a scoop out of this orchard here. Maybe if I can possibly push my guys up to this line right here, which might give them a position in which they can fire into the rear of these enemy positions over here, and then the machine guns over here can come along and engage enemy positions here from the front while I hit them from the flank. Of course, that would all depend on me having the ability to maintain surprise, and whether or not I do that is going to have to come up in the next video. Until then, I have one more big week at work, and I'm not sure what I can do until next weekend. But hopefully there will be some more videos coming down the pipe relatively soon. I know you guys have been waiting patiently. And until then, I guess I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.